Much, Kelly. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the commentary desk, where I'm Bart, joined by Brandon and Aurora, aka Maximum Jackson. Here from
Is that what you're known as?
The chunk?
The chunk, yeah, known as the chunk. And yeah, do you guys agree with that? I mean, one of the two. I doubt that Envyus is going to ban, or do you think they're going to ban Athena Xingtian?
I don't think so. I think Xing is definitely a ban, but they need to keep banning Khepri because Khepri was huge
over the Athena
yesterday. Yeah, Khepri definitely over the Athena.
Okay, even though PainDeViande's Athena was so effective, we're still.
Yeah, but did you see Khepri? Or I mean, Pain's Khepri? It was
I did.
awesome.
Yeah, he's excellent. But it's first pick from enemy this time. Envyus, after losing, will elect for the second pick position, and
now,
it's probably a little bit better for them. I mean, I think they're a little more comfortable. And yeah, there's the Xing right away.
So I think enemy here is trying to draft Sol first pick, and with the way Vetium played yesterday, I think this is a good call. But I hope that Vetium didn't let the games, or not yesterday, 2 days ago, go to his head, because a few of those corporeal form activations were bordering on luck. I mean, getting Sobek flung and then turning into it while he lands in the Humbot's ult for the reinitiation, like that kind of stuff, like I hope he doesn't think to himself, like, I'm invincible, because that could be their undoing. And this draft so far spells to me that they're looking for Sol.
But Sol put some pressure on the Allied to play a little bit more aggressive and try to win some of that lane back from her, and that's not really his strong suit often. We did see Barracuda bop Kabam, though, playing Sol into Sheepalanke, so yeah. it can be done, right? It just it comes down to a lot of damage coming out. Enemy, this time Zeus not banned until pretty late on. He's not going to be banned late this one. He's going to be first banned here by, or second banned here by Enemy. A little weird from the first position.
Zeus and Zhang Kuei, so mages getting hit by enemies. So far, Envy has been looking at the more tanky side of things, which is probably good considering the way Game 1 went, but they can't give Hell up. Hell gets taken out as well.
Well, let me take Athena or Sol here is the big question for
Maybe
me.
Khepri, too.
Or Khepri.
Or Serqet.
Or Serqet, right.
Yeah, so many good gods right now. It's crazy.
This not only is a great god for Adjust, it's his go-to, but this is also taking away Weaken's most efficient god.
Is it even saying anything like, oh, yeah, their go-to is Serqet? Well, like, yeah, duh. That's like everyone's favorite jungler, right? She's the best.
That's fair. But I mean, like, it's not just about...
No, the best plays on your team, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about, like, her being the best god. It's also Adjust's best god, and it's Weaken's, like, favorite god, which might even be more important than tier placing. Having your most comfortable god where you can make decisions so quick makes you a better player.
Khepri or Athena?
I think it's going to be Khepri.
Yeah, Khepri maybe pairs a bit better with the Serqet.
Hey, hell, draft both.
Yeah, take both.
They could, but I think it's just good. Oh my god, you're right.
What's up, though?
So, Athena solo lane or jungle?
That was the easy
call.
call.
Serqet's got to be the jungler, right?
I think it's going to be Athena jungle. Or no, Athena solo. Athena solo,
Athena solo, right?
Yeah.
Maybe Athena mid. We've seen it before.
It could be, but I think it's going to be Athena solo.
Both teams are now the wrong teams for that to happen.
Yeah. But it's going to be Bellona solo for Envy. That's going to be going to old CycloneSpin.
Yeah, I like Bellona a lot better than Osiris. She definitely has a better team fight with her ultimate, and I think this is going to be a lot better for
Envy
Cyclone.
drafting Cyclone's god.
So
in the first round, both games.
It could be Weaken.
True. Yeah, they could go to the jungle.
I don't know what they pick here, right? Okay, Sobek, that's good. They need to immediately ban Neath. This is a Neath ban in my head. Unless they hit some other tanky nonsense, it has to be a Neath ban. Solo Beck, though? I'm thinking it's Solo Beck.
No, I think it's going to be support back. Cyclone's not going to play Sobek, I don't think.
Why?
I just feel like that's not a Cyclone god. I feel like he's played it in the past, but I don't think he's going to bring it out into land.
Well, does Kiki have a Sobek? Sobek one of the harder to perform with dual lane supports.
I feel like Sobek's really strong right now. His lane phase is pretty easy, but once you get to the mid to late game, I feel like that's when it gets harder. And looking at enemy's team right now, it's going to be really hard for whoever Sobek is to get to their backline because they have Khepri, Athena, and Serqet, so there's a lot of peel there.
Enemy thinking that Bellona is going to be for the solo lane as they're going to ban out Hunbots from the jungle.
Okay.
Or at least try to force the Bellona into the solo lane, perhaps.
Option to Envy. They are playing out of the Chaos side of the map. They're going to have first pick out of the second ban phase and final pick.
But I don't think there's enough to be said. We're saying enough here about the fact that Envyus appears to have completely changed their draft strategy, where it was hold Cyclone's pick last or bust, to now their willingness to seem to pick it in the first phase.
I mean, that could be support back. That could be jungle Bellona.
Yeah.
There is ambiguity on this roster.
There is, but...
They are flexing.
All right, well, now it's Bellona or Sobek, okay, as Mercury gets picked. And Mercury is definitely going to be a jungle.
Well, we've also seen Cyclone play Mercury. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen, but
I don't think you play Mercury in solo after you get handled.
Well, the thing is, there's a Guardian in solo, and Mercury could farm, so we could possibly see it. I'm not saying we will, but there definitely is a possibility for Merc.
Does every god, by the way, have a different picture than they have Icon? Like the Mercury picture on the right?
It's the same picture, it's just flipped. Because they're all right adjusted on the right side and left adjusted on the left side.
Oh, okay.
You just never seen the same god on both sides.
I just never looked.
Yeah.
All right, so final pick and phase for Enemy here in Game 2. It looks like they're looking for a mid laner. I mean, barring Athena. and they're definitely looking for a hunter. With Neath off the table, I'm assuming Ram? Agni, great pick.
Haven't seen much Agni recently, and yeah, Ram going to come in as well, so.
We saw Agni once. I think it was our last game on Tuesday when they closed TSM out. It was Agni into Zeus, which I thought was pretty good.
Yes.
10th pick Janus.
Where have we gone?
Once upon a time, yeah. Janus was impossibly broken, destroying everybody in all games.
You see this nervousness? Look at that.
Yeah.
That's serious shaking. He's got to be focused. I mean, this kid has been grinding literally for years. I remember I used to go against him in like the 3v3 tournaments like
Vetium?
a year and a half ago. No, that was Khaos.
Oh, I didn't. I was like staring at Janus last pick and trying to figure out how is Janus last picked.
But I mean, he's come so far. He went from doing random 3v3 tournaments and like doing troll picks to playing Janus 10th pick at with a spot for Worlds on the line. It's a crazy transition.
Yeah, Cass is. I've been playing with Cass since 2012. He's been around for a really long time, so
He's
it's pretty
brackets
awesome.
Doesn't
around
look
the
like
A,
it, man.
right? Wasn't that him?
What's up?
He had the brackets around the A once upon a time as well in his name. It was like KH bracket A bracket OS.
I don't
I'm
know.
not sure actually. I don't remember.
There are many Chaoses.
Yeah.
But there's only one KH OAS.
Less smiles on both sides. Both teams looking
Enemy still looks
extremely
pretty chipper.
focused.
This is a huge game, and we also have to remember this is for Worlds qualification. So whoever takes this is going to Worlds. So this is really, really important game. If enemy goes up 2-0, we might see a sweep. If Envy takes this game, I think it might go to 5.
If you are just joining us, guys, this is game number 2 and a best of 5 Envyus versus Enemy. Picks and bans are in. Game number 2 underway. Enemy, the blue side. Envyus, the red side. Winner of this moves on to Worlds. Loser forced to potentially relegate against
I was really hoping
team.
we were going to see that Khepri jungle.
No, get out.
And look at them. He's like, we're going to jump under T1 because there's no way in hell we're going back in that jungle.
Yeah, and, Geb Shield.
Yeah.
Or Khepri Shield.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Geb Shield, but
it
passive.
only lasts for... Actually, it lasts for more seconds. It's 15 seconds.
15, yeah.
Man, Envy's in a weird spot, right? Because they just beat TSM. They have a game up on Envy. I mean, these are people that, we talk about as legend, right? And Enemy came into this split as, man, we hope we don't take last, right?
Yeah.
And now, what North America has
Enemy did
proven
take
to be...
last the split 2, right?
Yeah, but it wasn't the same team.
Not at all, not even close,
yeah.
but still point being, right? Like, coming in, the public doesn't forget the name. They forget the players faster than the name, I think, and everyone was expecting Enemy to be a bottom 3 team.
And instead, they're winding up being a top 3 team, as we're seeing.
And I think I said this yesterday, but I think like 4 months ago, Vetium asked me to follow him on Twitter, and I said I would if you made top 4 at LAN, and now I have to. I'm going to have to see all of
Well, the
nonsense.
LAN's not over for, some
they're
crazy
still top
stuff
4, though.
could
They're
happen.
guaranteed top 4.
No, well, some crazy thing could happen. We could just negate the whole weekend. So don't you
That's
do it
true.
until
You're
Monday.
right, yeah, we could turn back time like Cher.
Roar, you don't get that joke.
Yeah, you're not old enough for that joke.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah?
Go ahead, tell us about the joke.
Cher, the singer.
Yeah.
I know the song. What's it called? Give me a second. I'll remember it later. And bring
I
it
guess
back.
we'll go to a listen in before, right?
Oh yeah, if I could turn back
There you go, yeah, dude.
time.
She's on the battleship with the butt out and the dress. Yeah, dude, it's the whole
Oh,
thing.
Incon in some trouble here. He actually did a lot of damage. The passive from a 10% plus.
Well, this is the
coming
hardest
out.
part, I think, about Smite currently, playing jungle mid lane and dealing with this opening minute, right? Like, how do you get to your camps? How fast do you secure your red buff? And how well do you zone them from the mid harpies? It used to be, I would say, probably the opening 2v2 in the solo lane, just because there's so much volatility there, 2 very high kill gods usually. But now jungle and mid, it's kind of the same thing, but even more on the line with those mid camps. It's a really, really tough part of Smite. And you saw, no surprise to see, Enemy getting a little bit the better of Envyus here.
Oh, she actually got
Did
that.
you get all of them?
No, well, all of
got
them
the
be
big
damned.
one,
She
so
got
it's
the
the-
big one
yeah.
with the second hit of Cobra's Kiss. She hit Mercury and then swung the camera for the kill. That was insane.
You know, those adverb junglers, adapting and adjust. Looking pretty good.
Adverb.
Yeah, adjusting.
Adjustly.
Adjustly.
CycloneSpin. War Machine, though. Look at this. Getting the
War
early
Machine.
push.
Salt machine.
So, did I say War Machine?
You did say
it's the
War
same.
Machine. Oh my god.
Proton
Actually, no.
cannon.
Salt Machine's still on the team, right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Salt machine's on his team.
No, this is all right. Never mind. Uh-oh, trouble! Does he have the jump? He does not have the jump, but rotation over. Very good from PainDeViande, and he's covered. They didn't quite get enough damage off.
Yeah, you saw Janus try to portal him, but he accidentally put it on the wall. That's unfortunate for Incon. They might have been able to pick him off there.
That would have been a really good support play. As a mid laner, you probably want to hit those.
Oh, stop. Leave him alone. He's doing his best. Red buffs.
Unfortunately, that might be the issue.
Yeah, right. That maybe it's just not there. But, you know, you may see Envyus settle in to these roles a little bit more.
In the next 40 minutes.
Well, it's their first full speed game. Right? They've played some scrims, but nothing, obviously nothing on the line in those scrims. They are, of course, scrims. Taking a lot of damage from that is going to be Bellona.
I mean, there was no part of that he should have been doing. Like, when he started that bludgeon after she had done the shield wall, or at least during it, he should have known he was going to get countered there. That is not the Cyclone that we would have seen a few months ago.
Not a lot of people have played solo lane Athena in recent memory. So.
I mean, right, but like the one thing you think about is like, man, don't want to get taunted into shield wall.
Yeah, but show me shield wall. Let's take a look at that ability.
6,000 damage.
Yeah, look at rank 5 base damage on this ability.
Look at rank 3 base damage.
560 base damage with 100% scaling on this ability.
I mean, already it's 450.
Yeah, so...
Uh-oh, Pain.
Wow, feeling
only level 4.
Cheeky here is Allied. Yeah, that's a nice ultimate. Going to be forced off to the left as PainDeViande. That's going to be your first blood. Allied showing off that soul. Maybe a second one as well if he has another shot. No, does not. And barely going to make it to that one as Vetium.
That's what I like to see. He went purple pot again this game, but they got something out of the lane this time from it, so it was really great. They had Sobek, and that's why they were able to pick up the kill.
We also didn't really talk too much about this, but yeah, it's PainDeViande Khepri. We kind of just glossed over it in that first draft kind of moment, but yeah, this was a huge factor. Could just break down a little bit for us, Aurora, kind of how impactful PainDeViande was in the previous set they played versus TSM.
Yeah, he had really, really strong ultimates. Like, it just negated all the team fights TSM wanted to take. Like, they got a pick, but then Khepri would just ult the person, he'd come back to life. So, Pain just played great against TSM, and he's going to try to bring it here. He does take an early death, but like we saw last game, early deaths may not matter.
Rising Dawn doesn't look like it's going to get it. I think Sobek still managed to grab that one.
Yeah, no, he got one of them.
Weaken Big finds 3 right there. Ultimate coming out from Incon. No follow-up just yet as we see the Khepri ult come out. They're rushing down Allied. They're going to get at least one. saltmachine is credited with the kill. Cyclone answering back here. Still has Eagles Rally. We could see the reinitiation.
Yeah, there's Eagles Rally to the backside. One more bludgeon going to do a ton of damage here, but getting slowed nicely by the Rom. But Vetium, yeah, he's going to fall down here to the superior boots from CycloneSpin. He finds 2 on that rotation. Athena only picks up 1. It's 3-1 now for Envyus with the first blood to their credit as well.
And of all the characters on the team to get the kill, right, it's going to be the solo lane Athena, the one who's already getting farm, the Guardian who's not using gold nearly as well as a Rom or an Agni. I think that's as good as Envy could have hoped for. By the way, that, to me, Weaken hitting all 3, this might be trouble for Envy, because every time that we've seen him play, or talking about Weaken, of course, play Mercury, he's always looking for these play ults. He's never just like, I'm going to get the one person. He's like, I want to hit 5. And when Complexity, you know, when Envy was Complexity last year and they lost to C9, in my opinion, they lost a game specifically because Weaken was trying to make the Mercury ult happen. He looked for 3 people, and instead the seas parted. He found 0 and died for it. Like, these kind of things, I mean, he can't look to be the playmaker. He's got to go for the individual kills.
Well, as we've seen twice now already in this tournament, even if Serqet gets shut down early game, she can come back and have huge impact around that 25-minute mark. Once she gets that Blink 1 online and a couple of items, at least a short sword to give her that RNG potential to burst, it can get pretty ugly quickly. Another thing to mention here about that duo lane, it's just the rank 2 of those Devo's gloves forced out of Rom with that early death. Yeah. And now he's in that awkward position in the lane where he's got the Devo's gloves done now. Yeah,
he has the timing. It's just like now he's stuck in lane and he's full health. He's most mana. He doesn't want to go back in a weird spot.
He's one wave away from having them there. There's going to be the ultimate from Serqet. The bomb just off the mark. In will come Weaken yet again to try to bail out his mid laner, but it looked like Incon was probably already out of that one, but nonetheless, Envyus will hold against that early enemy assault.
So I'm looking at Bellona here. CycloneSpin, it looks like has a Cudgel online. Long considered the worst item in the game for its cost, although it does go into 2 of the stronger items in the game with Frostbound Hammer and Runeforged. It's going to be, I would imagine, Frostbound here, considering he's fighting magical and true damage. So a lot of that makes sense that he wants to try to lock somebody down, especially if they catch a Rom with his ult or his beads down. There's really no way for him to escape.
Yeah, and just in general, Frostbound's just really, really good against Guardians.
It's just
really
good.
hard to get away.
It's
yeah,
a good item. 325 health, decent damage, slows on auto attacks. saltmachine getting a little bit aggressive here.
Always good to look at how these solo lane Guardians are itemizing, specifically the Athena cooldown boots, Mark of the Vanguard. What are we going to see second? I mean, we've seen anything from Voidstone, Winged Blades, all kinds of items have been picked up on these solo lane Athenas. It'll be interesting to see exactly what saltmachine elects for here. Do you think we'll see the Mystical Male in this game?
It's hard to say. They have a Soul and they have a Sobek and they have a Janus. So the 2 physical are on his side of the map most of the time. It's going to be hard to say.
He could go neutral, something like Urchin, something like
Breastplate.
Spirit Road, Breastplate. Yeah,
That's what he's picking
cooldown
up.
Yeah,
reduction.
I guess that's probably the obvious option there. The super cheap, super mana efficient for the gold item here. Give him infinite laning sustain, essentially.
And on a Guardian, I consider cooldown reduction to be neutral defense. Right, extra dashes, extra taunts, extra ults to get in and out of fights. I think that's a really smart play, especially for the cost. Like, yeah.
Sometimes just overlook the obvious there. It's going to be Breastplate, of course. It's going to be max CDR in the first 2 items. And then probably the Void Stone.
I was leaning towards the E-Staff.
Ooh, you
Really?
think
Yeah.
so early? I think E-Staff, I mean, you need a little bit of protection to make that effective.
I don't know
health.
about E-Staff that early on Athena. Like
Well, in the
Breastplate-
solo lane, she's going to be farming up, and having that extra health versus extra defense on the
$500
ganks.
lantern right there.
Yeah, but he's already winning lane.
The $500 lantern.
The reason why he wants to go Breastplate is so he can ult over, and he'll just have a lot of ults.
By the way, that's like my favorite thing in the game is like people get mad at you. You're like, can you ward please? You walk in, you drop it on top of them. There you go. Just get that little lantern down. Cyclone still tanking up a few. Cleave, though, not worried about it.
No, yeah, that's fine.
Uh-oh.
Athena ultimate being considered, not channeled.
This is something we should see more of. Yeah, I mean, maybe not even just like
By the way,
trolling
it's
with
Rune
it.
Forge for Bellona. We were conjecturing whether or not it'd be
Oh,
Frostbound.
why?
Kasol lane. That's like the only answer I can give you, right? I mean, like,
I'm not in there.
that item keeps on getting purchased.
Tail Whip is on
Super
cooldown, it
cost-effective, at
seems.
least. Yeah, Sobek realizing very quickly there, Kiki, like, I am melting. Soul Ultimate going to be used. Is it going to be enough to save? No, it
gone.
will not. That combination of Serqet plus Ram, just such long-range ability to pop that ultimate. Agni's going to rotate in here as well. Here comes Athena plus Pain. There's the Abduct and the Athena ultimate on top of it. It's a double kill for Vetium in the meantime. That's going to springboard the Ram. It's going to will compensate for the issue that he had earlier. And a triple for Vetium. Devo's gloves are getting stacked up rather quickly now, and he's way ahead in this lane. Soul going to start getting boxed out. Gold Fury underway, and notice Allied going for that Bookatov build-up. Again, he is so far behind Vetium in the box again now. He has to stay way back and just try to burst the waves.
They also have Bellona ult. They could wipe him here if they can get in.
But they can't seem to. They're actually going to trade out. PainDeViande recognizes and starts playing frontline. Adjust, takes down Incon. In place he goes. No, someone did stop the hammer, and that Khepri ult.
That hammer was about to do 1,000 damage, and the Agni stun came in just in time. Remember, there was a Khepri ultimate used there as well. Vetium trying to stay in this fight. Weekend's going to make his way in. No ultimate available on the Mercury, and that's nonetheless going to force the Gold Fury reset there. But enemy still coming out the big winner.
Weekend is just being too thirsty. I mean, the ult right in that left lane, there was no reason for that to go off. At that point, Kiki was dead to rights. He had 3 ults coming his way, and he wasn't able to dodge 2 of them, considering one of them was true damage poison. He was guaranteed to die. Weekend at that point put himself out of position, which actually baited Allied forward as well. That triple kill was a direct result of just Weekend being out of position.
It's huge for Rama, too. Rama's really, really good in the late game. He struggles early on, but now with this triple kill, he's like right back into the game. He's still 2 levels behind Allied, but his gold is definitely catching back up.
Well, now he's the Devo's gloves. And once he gets his next attack speed item online, if he gets the Executioner, more likely, I'd say, than the Ichabal, that's really where you see the Hunters turn the corner versus Mage in-handers.
Yeah, and if you look at the gold, Allied had a purple pot, so the gold's basically even right now between
it's
both of them.
technically in favor of Vetium. Decent damage. Allied sends some poke out. Vetium's going to get the better of that, though. And
jungler without any HP. I mean, Serqet, one of the weaker assassins. I mean, you just see without that Book of Thoth and the power behind it, those cooldown reduction boots not really bringing too much early fight. And I think that, I don't know, man. Like, I think I'd rather see the more battle-ready Soul. I mean, this is such a farm-oriented Soul game, and like you're going late game against a Rom. Now, granted, it can all turn around at the back end of the mid game where the Soul is going to be hitting like a truck, but still. You got to think, I mean, those 800 damage crits.
She's not outboxing Rama.
Yeah,
not
she's not going to outbox Rama, and she's not going to be more effective in team fights unless she starts hitting, 5-man twos.
Well, Soul's ult is crazy.
Well, that's I think why you see teams giving Soul up. I mean, coming into this tournament, there was a lot of kind of chatter about how overpowered or impossible to lane against Soul was. But when push comes to shove, teams have consistently let her go because she is very beatable after like the first, 12 waves or so by a Diva's Gloves pen boot or a power boot hunter.
Right there, they just got Cyclone's all off. Serqet can come back like in 20 seconds again and even try to gank him again.
I think even better than that, Athena can now rotate for free, and even if Cyclone follows, he's not going to put out enough damage because they have like 75 forms of CC to stop Bludgeon.
Serqet, Blink, and Beads coming back online here. There's going to be something started up shortly.
And looking at the actives, Cyclone has teleport.
Oh, here's the fight. It's going to be the Athena initiation, but Allied going to make it into the incorporeal form just in time on that
Kiki's
Soul.
ult's wasted, though.
Hit 3 and run. Athena ultimate maybe a little bit too early there, but they may try to pressure Gold Fury as the Gold Fury is up. Let's take a listen to Enemy as it looks like they're going to start this Envyus, I'm sorry, as they're going to try to stop Enemy from taking this Gold Fury.
My ult's down. I have to be careful.
Hello?
That's just
Here?
That's
Oh,
top.
fuck. I'm mid. I'm mid.
I'm fine.
I'm around.
Oh,
They reset. They reset.
we did really
I'm
good.
here,
poke.
I'm here.
We can
Go.
fuck
Yeah.
with them. Yeah.
How much speed?
They restarted?
That's Khepri snare. 2 bombs.
Oh,
Athena. Blocking it.
Yeah.
Athena. Nice shot.
I hit 2. I hit 3.
I'm out.
There's just
Help me out, help me in the back,
Rama,
in the back. Serqet ult down, Serqet.
Agni has no bomb. Rama in the air. Rama's low.
Coming back. I got him.
Kill the
Serqet in the back.
He's dead. Keep going. Go on.
Serqet in the back.
Pain.
I plucked it. I plucked it.
Oh, plug. Nice plug. Try to live kicks.
I'm fine.
Beats.
Agni beats.
Nice try. Careful, just gotta live.
Getting out.
Get him on. Nice.
Good job.
Two goals.
It's just
Serqet is
Serqet.
up. No
I'll
ult.
stay,
No
I'll
ult
stay.
on Serqet. No ult on Serqet. No ult.
Feels good to be hit by Janus. Kiki knock up if that's ridiculous. Nice.
So after game 1, I talked to Gandhi a little bit. He's sitting towards the front, and he was saying that Weekend not communicating enough. He thinks it might be a role swap thing. Perhaps the chemistry's a little off. But right there, you heard, Weekend tried again to go for that Mercury play, and God bless, he found it, and then he was just all words. Right now, might be in a little bit of trouble, though.
Yeah, he's going to get run down.
I'll miss you, Weekend. Oh, that... I feel like he's like, okay, I'm going to die to the solar flare. Khepri gets some gold. It's like, someone else got it.
Yeah, like how Khepri just throws it down and then walks away and his team
Yeah, he's
takes
like, I know.
it.
Yeah, Pain already knows.
Cool bugs don't look at explosions.
Exactly.
Oh, now they're going to try to fight CycloneSpin. CycloneSpin, maybe more so than any other solo laner, is willing to fight you 2v1. At any time, he's just like, okay, yeah, let's
He doesn't
brawl.
really take too much damage.
No,
there.
I mean, and maybe that's maybe a little bit of a knock on other solo laners. I mean, it looks like, and he's able to stand his ground so often.
Well, they do have Athena, so it's really hard for
That's
Athena
right.
to put out a lot of damage. So that's why.
He has to hit both of the shield wall detonations.
And he has Stone a guy online too, and he has a Room Forge for the Serqet, so he's just really tanky.
Maybe why Bellona is just so highly valued. Able to build those tank items and still bring more damage to the table than the Osiris certainly could.
I wonder if she's going to stick.
She's going to feel more reliable CC.
Last game she didn't do it. This game she might just try to stay with that Emerald Talisman, not go into Stone of Gaia, and start building into her next item.
I think that'd be the play. I mean, because all you got to really be worried about here is that you're going to get, like, nearly one shot by a Janus and Soul combination. Besides that, you should be able to kind of... I mean, Bellona's biggest strength is kind of re-engaging or counter-engaging in a fight with Eagle's Rally. And as long as you don't die to that first wave of damage and get hit by a Sobek ultimate, a Janus Unstable Vortex, and Threshold, and some Soul Burst, he's going to be fine and able to build into something maybe a little bit more sustain-oriented or even a little more damage on this Bellona to try to disrupt that backline a little more. I mean, they got to put some pressure onto Incon to get him out of these fights because multiple Unstable Vortexes is going to lose you a team fight.
So Adjust right there walks over the ward. He gets spotted. Immediately, Allied activates the 3 and starts working his way back, almost fatalising himself with those auto attacks, knowing he's going to go into the corporeal form and shut down any sign of an invade. And with that, Adjust recognizes the trail on the ground and just dips immediately. So good play on both
He's
sides.
got the Golden Bow build up here on the Mercury. So farm-oriented Mercury.
Hell yeah. Always.
Serqet, was that a Serqet ultimate used there to try to stop the
No,
counter
just
ward?
their taunt.
No, it was just a taunt. Okay, I was like, oh no.
They were trying to get him off the ward, yeah.
But I mean, this is the Mercury build. He's going to go directly into Rage now.
Yeah.
All right, this is what you want. You're
And
looking
Sprint
for those.
2 adding 700 damage.
He's looking to. Yeah. Oh, my
He
man.
might go into Malice. Weekend loves his Malice.
He's just looking to make people look. That's it.
Yeah.
Big old 700 damage crits, doing some damage on the sides as well. Very helpful.
Now comes the favorite part of every Mercury player's day, when you sit in the back line and channel your ultimate over and over and over again.
You just sing the theme song to We Will Rock You, just, just clapping over and over. It's lovely. It's the best day.
Solo laners are weird. So yeah, Voidstone picked up there by saltmachine as well to answer the question about the build, and it is the full Stone of Gaia in response from CycloneSpin.
So the penetration will, I guess, be washed out by the extra. Still.
One would assume. It's going to be the aura build-up for PainDeViande here on the Khepri.
They're
Isolate a little bit here is Kiki with the Agni bombs. They're going to dump a lot of spells into this, into the waters. Will go Sobek. He's going to dash out, but in will come Mercury. Khepri ultimate going to use on a Justice, going to save him for now, but it's CycloneSpin and Weekend piling onto the front liner. Saltmachine trying to make his way to this one. Up into the sky goes Vetium. Ooh, he's close.
He got those? Nope.
Not far enough for that third shot, but the first was on the mark. In will come Athena again. Defender of Olympus is used. Allied in corporal form. Away he goes. It'll be a disengage for Envy for now. Saltmachine going to chase CycloneSpin back to lane. That's going to be it for that engagement.
No casualties.
No deaths, yeah.
I actually almost thought Kiki was one tick away, and if he would have actually died to the Serqet, it would have been because Salt Machine hit him with a reach.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah, exactly. And it's crazy. All 5 teammates were there for both teams.
Envyus
and
wants
no
to
one
fight here,
died.
and yeah, they're going to get a 3-man tail whip.
This is big.
They're going to get a 3-man
Khaos is a god!
Still running away as Khaos. He's going to avoid the rest of that Soul ultimate, trying to make their way out of this. And
my
yes, they will
God.
successfully disengage through the Janus portal. Goes Vetium. He's going to roll away, not even going to throw out a cripple shot. Slowed by Soul. A couple more hands going to do it, but taunted away by a just enemy covering their options so well. Incon just off the mark, but that ultimate nearly clips Vetium
How
for
is
the
everyone
kill.
alive again? But dude, Khaos with that 180 no scope Noxious Fume Stun to shut down the charge prey, that was some sick nonsense.
That at least saved 1 or 2 people for sure. That was insane.
He would have been dead.
Yeah, for
Wow.
sure.
This is one of the best games of Smite I think we've seen in a very long time.
15 kills through 18 minutes here. Enemy up 1 kill. The graphs, 2,700 experience and 2,500 gold in their favor yet again.
And usually when you see 15 kills in 18 minutes, you're like, it's been a pretty slow game, but it's actually been entirely the opposite.
Oh, Saul in a lot of trouble here. The
Constant
Serqet
fighting.
poison ticking her down. But nope, Janus is here, and through the portal she goes.
Just going to be forced to back away. Khaos here for the control. Weekend takes a lot of
beads.
damage. Wow, yeah.
Weekend beads popped.
A little bit early on the beads. I feel like Weekend's panicking.
It's okay, beads 3.
And going back to the role swap again, like Kiki doesn't play Janus and Incon does, so that's one positive sign of the role swap. It got allied out of the trouble, so it's
absolutely.
good play by Incon.
Yeah, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how many male gods
Cheeky.
Incon brings to the mid lane. I mean,
position here.
The long time joke about Kiki is he only plays girls and animals. I just see the Sobek coming out.
So Sobek's a girl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so's Geb.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
He's a cute girl.
Allied out of position here. I don't know if he'll get into the Corpio from just barely. We're going to take to the sky. Vetium looking for 3. Gets 2. Doesn't find the 3rd, and he needed it. Allied still alive. And he's healing up quickly.
Kiki
Radiance has got him controlled.
That charge spray there. CycloneSpin disrupting the backline.
Weekend.
But he's not getting too much out of that. In will come the major look from Weekend. Weekend's ultimate's available as well. He's going to pop maximum velocity.
Salt Machine's in trouble here.
Yeah, Weekend going to be the big difference maker, I think, in these fights, though. We'll see. As Salt Machine is going to be able to make it out of here. He won't. But there's the Khepri ultimate. He's going to respawn with this. No, he won't. Trying to stay in position of CycloneSpin. Getting kicked back into the team. Here comes the big Mercury ultimate. Hitting 4, killing 1. Down will go the rest of the Soul ultimate. And a huge combination from Envyus wipes out enemy. And is back in Fire Giant, yeah?
I mean, I said it, right? He's always going to be looking for the big plays. And somehow, everything's coming up Millhouse right now for Weekend.
So going to be the Gold Fury, and then likely Envyus is going to fall back and look to pick up the Fire Giant, one would assume. But looking at CycloneSpin pushing down the left side here, it's not going to be that. I think they could have gone right to Fire Giant perhaps instead of Gold Fury.
They should have. They probably. Forget all that. Like, we got to go back and we got to watch this Mercury ult again because this is some nonsense. Look at this, delicious. He actually gets the kill on the Salt Machine, cutting everyone in the choke point, and then just running them down cleanly.
I want to say Soul Ultimate hit 3 people 5 times there. I mean, that ability does absurd damage.
Wow. They'll get a tier 1 as well. Tier 2 will stay strong, but Envy takes a pretty decent chunk of gold there. You see they're up about 8,000 gold after that one. Aurora, give us your feels on that.
Yeah, that was a really, really good fight by Envy. That combo between the Mercury ult into Bellona ult into Soul ult just totally took out enemy in like an instant. It was awesome to watch.
And I mean, the Envyus strategy is starting to really show its head here as Weekend gets his 3rd crit item started up. I mean, it's basically Mercury +4 versus enemy.
Going back to what you guys said about Fire Giant too, I agree. I feel like they should have gotten Fire Giant. Getting gold's good, but I feel like they didn't make the decision fast enough.
Yeah.
Gold's fine, but if they got fire, they could have pressured towers.
And they had more than enough health.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And time.
Yeah, but looking at the team comps, I don't think enemy's out of this game. They have Khepri, they have Athena, they have Agni, and they have Rama. Really great team fighting gods. They also have Serqet to clean up the gods in the back as well. So I feel like this game is still not all the way over yet.
I'd say so, yeah. And Agni also an excellent wave clearer for those base defenses. So
yeah,
they'll definitely have a little bit more time than say a maybe an ISIS-based composition would with this Agni.
You know, and going back to that, I think Fire Giant not only was the right call because, dude, it's FG, right? But it's like you have Mercury, who is the best tower killer in the game and endgame, except for maybe Kronos. And he'll just pop his 2, walk up to a tower with Fire Giant, and kill it before the 2 ends by himself.
Yeah, it's hard to do that as Mercury, though. The team has to be dead for him to really walk into a Phoenix and punch it. Well, yeah, you can split push too.
But then that means you're saving your ultimate for...
But they have an Athena. Athena could just sit wherever Mercury sits, never die because she has protection items, and ult over to her team way faster. And even if she needs to teleport back, she can because she has a teleport online.
Still teleport 1, by the way, if you'll note. Very, I think, anemic on the side of enemy in the actives department. We have a teleport 1, and then we have a sprint 1 on Khepri. Like, wow.
Yeah, they could use that heavenly for the disengage versus Mercury. I think they need to concede this tier 1 as well.
And remember how much the shell did in the last game? It seems like they forgot about it.
Oh, they still have the genre.
Sure, but I mean, pick it up on Khepri. Other people can buy it besides the mid laner.
Yeah, look, Sobek has one. Kiki.
I think Pain's trying to get his auras on. He almost has Salve done. After he finishes Salve, we're going to see a complete actives
Man,
rush.
that
He's going to get
timing is
Shell and
poor.
Heavenly.
Like, it's almost 23 minutes into the game, and he doesn't have both auras on, whereas Kiki's like, yeah, I have my Urchin. It's getting stacked up.
Looks like we're having an engagement here underneath the tier 1 enemy. Looking to try and hold this one as Envyus is going deep here. There's the ultimate over the top from CycloneSpin. He's getting a lot of damage out of that cudgel. Weekend looking to re-engage. He will find one, though the ultimate will come up from Soul as well, but credited to Weekend for that kill. Bellona will shrug off that Agni bomb.
What?
Tier 1's going to go down.
The Spirit Gun!
And yeah, Incon finds a just way at the back of that fight with that ultimate, and now this will allow Envyus to continue a very aggressive path into this fight. They're going to nearly wipe enemy. They're going to get Khepri. Rama underneath the tower as well. He's in some trouble. He's going to roll out. PainDeViande is dead, trying to run away as Weekend. Weekend's going to be able to kite him successfully. That's a 5-man wipe. Enemy off the board.
That's another deicide. This should be at least a Phoenix at this point, and we're going to get a teleport back in from Bellona. It looks like maybe a split push. Soul, very smart. One of the best tower pushes in the game, going right for the Phoenix. Everyone else going to FG.
Yeah, that's a great call.
And with Soul pushing, it's going to zone the rest of the team for coming out because they're going to want to try to
Kiki,
stop
come
Soul.
on.
He's new.
He's new.
Everybody takes Fire Giants just on a support thing.
Yeah. No, he's new, man. He, roll swap. Didn't know he shouldn't get knocked up.
No, now you can't because you have
Lava?
tank items.
Oh yeah, now you can get knocked. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's like, I don't want to go in there,
Takes
guys.
so much damage.
But, I mean, that's big. They take a 5-for-0. They get 2 towers and a Phoenix. The FG, they're now ahead.
One of the first times I think I've ever seen a team peel off their Hunter to take the Phoenix while the rest of the team goes and takes Fire Giant.
I mean, that's what
I don't
they
think I've
should
ever
have
seen
done.
that before.
That's
They have Mercury.
the best call.
Right, because
Yeah.
they have that physical damage core jungler, where so often for this team, they haven't had the luxury of being able to pick something like a Mercury for a Weekend because they've been forced to pick initiators because Kiki plays much more damage-oriented gods. Janus a little bit more slippery. They don't have to quite make up quite as much on the initiation front.
By the way, that was, I think, the first time that we have seen Vetium get some serious ADC tunnel vision. I mean, he chased Mercury.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't catch Mercury. He is just inherently, not only does he have 10% passive movement speed from maximum velocity, but he has Golden Bow. That's another 5%.
He's
and
also
you're
the
a hunter.
fastest god alive.
Like, you are not catching him. And he, like, walked into the jungle into a choke point using Rolling Assault to get there. This is the first time, I think, that we have seen Vetium visibly shaken since this tournament has started.
Another thing I want to talk about with the last fight was Incon's ult. That was great. You called it out. That was insane.
You know what? I'm going to cheat. That was cheat because I heard someone in that room scream, and then I looked at him like, what's going to happen here? And then I saw the adjust come up on the screen, and I'm like, did he hit him with the damn spirit gun from that far away?
Gold Fury going to be started up and taken down by Team Envyus here as they make their way towards the left side of the map. Right side Phoenix is down. The gold lead is enormous, as is the experience lead. Envy making their way into the tier 2. Trying to fight here is enemy in their own jungle. Strangely enough, they're not going to fight underneath the tier 2. They're going to go... Yeah, maybe the smarter play back towards the Phoenix.
I think we should actually jump in with Envy here. They're starting to rotate around the map and look for objectives. I want to hear what it's called. Let's listen in with the Envy squad as they're looking to close out game 2.
I'm fine.
Can't get through.
They don't mean the
Yeah,
dash.
I'm on tower.
Stop your dash.
Tower's down. Portal.
Get something?
Got them both. Huge damage.
I have shell.
Great on
Shell.
your
That's 2 bombs. I think it's 1. That's a snare.
My ult's
We don't have a ward.
My ult will be up soon.
You can ward it.
Serqet's at half. Oh my god.
Cyclone's back.
Push mid.
You
Show
guys
mid.
back?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, teleport.
Okay, cool. Well, one's on right. And
We have
Serqet
fire
back.
creeps on left as well. Go, force. Yeah.
Careful, Cyclone's not here quite yet.
I'm
here.
Lucky
Tower.
Khepri.
I'm on Khepri.
He's low.
Zoning him out.
Circuit
Go,
Circuit off.
Khepri out.
They're gonna die.
Yep.
Circuit off.
Tower. Phoenix. Careful, Phoenix.
No creeps.
Yeah.
Agni ages.
Creeps on right.
Right Phoenix.
Agni ages down.
Careful, they can recommit.
I'm in. I get him.
Nice.
Athena taunt down.
All thing. Ah. Not Phoenix. I'm going.
Careful.
Careful, you can't really get
Be
anything.
careful, Alex.
Back out.
Oh, get out. The Valley dies. You know?
I got
I'm
portal.
okay.
I got portal.
I'm okay. Oh,
No, Rama ulted.
Just get out now.
Keep running.
Let Ally die.
He's
He's dead.
It's fine, whatever. All their Phoenixes.
That's a huge
Yeah.
one. Yeah, that's a huge one.
We literally got all three.
Yeah, that was good.
No, I think we're 800.
Nice.
Yo, Rama hit me really hard. Holy shit.
Nice.
You're squishy as fuck, dude.
Shut up.
Nice.
Guys.
10 to 18. Envyus coming up big again. Allied though, not fine.
Yeah,
He said he was fine. A lot. Wasn't fine.
not fine. Yeah, he was like, no, I'm fine. I don't need that portal.
I think the big deal though was for me, Cyclone goes to the front line way past the Phoenix and then gets the bludgeon off. It's nowhere near going to kill.
Chaos Aegis hit.
And Khaos is like, oh my god, in the Aegis. That's the second person now we've seen visibly shaken. That was a panic.
I don't know if it was a panic. I really think he wanted to defend the second Phoenix because
Yeah.
both of their Phoenix were down. Right and mid were down. He knew he needed to defend the last Phoenix, and if he got poked out below half, he would have had to
But he
run
still
back
went
to his
into the base.
No, he didn't. He
No,
went
he
up
went right to the
fight and
Phoenix.
got one-shotted by Weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah.
true.
So I think that was kind of like
We can hit a made you look and in hand at the exact same
time.
time. Both of them crit for 1,100 damage.
Delightful.
Oh man, look at that! Look at the player damage though. Look at old baby Allied there putting out 20k on Soul.
Easy.
Look at
as they
Athena's
say.
damage. That's what I like to see.
Yeah, Athena way up there. And
Guardian.
No mystical mail either.
yeah, that's without Mystical Mail. And that's like mostly effective damage. We didn't see him getting maybe a decent amount of poke, but a lot of the poke he got on Cyclone was effective. It pushed him back, it pushed him out, it forced him to waste ultimates. Like, that is a pretty much raw 15,000 damage that Athena has, but I think that's the issue as well, is that Athena's topping the team.
Yeah.
For
Probably
sure.
is your core.
Especially after Rama got 3 early triple kill. He didn't really put it into anything.
Well, he was still behind.
Well, yeah.
Well,
I
look
feel
at his
like he
ramp
caught him
up
in
here.
gold, though.
I mean, look at his itemization choice. I mean, that probably is contributing quite a bit of it, right? He goes for 2 not very damage-centric items in the Soul Eater and Ichaival, right? Ichaival's a boxing item.
Well-
Soul Eater brings. I mean, they both bring some power to the table, but it's not execution or into Rage Blade.
The thing is, it's really, really good items, but Soul's magical. The Ichaival does take her attack or her magic like power auto attacks away, but the Soul Eater gives armor. It doesn't give magic
Right.
resist, so it's not as good.
This is how you tank a Fire Giant, boys and girls. And then Dash didn't even need to. Wow, right as the lava was coming up, a perfect run right there from the boys on Envy. They have an almost 20,000 gold lead as they look to just collect that last of the third Phoenixes. And this should be game 2. This is a very hard turnaround because even if they wind up defending here on the side of enemy, they're not getting through all those structures to win the game.
Salt Machine going to get tail whipped out of his dash here, still trying to maintain a front line.
Actually, I don't think he got tail whipped out. I think he actually hit it and then got tail whipped, which is
Okay.
maybe worse.
Oh, in a lot of trouble here is PainDeViande, and he is going to
Oh,
go
no,
down to
Khepri ult.
CycloneSpin over the top. Khepri ultimate not. He was trying to save it for later on in that fight. A Just does take out Allied. Here comes the Rom Snipes as well, doing a decent amount of
Wow,
damage.
nice
Salt
shot.
Machine's going to fall here as well as the Weakening Curse was used to keep him in position. CycloneSpin, he's going to go down. Or sorry, Khaos will go down to CycloneSpin as he continues
Can't
to push
box
through
her.
the Phoenix.
Walk away.
He's going to smack Vetium back into the well. A Just is going to do what he can, but he's forced to go for that zigzag back into the well, and it's looking like this is going to be game number 2 in the bag. 30 minutes and 25 seconds or so. Envyus will defeat enemy in game 2. And now everyone is looking kind of wrong here, as I had this one going 2 games to enemy before Envyus won their first, but nonetheless, it's 1-1 here. Now, who are we thinking has the momentum? I mean, obviously, Envyus gets a huge win at the end of that game, but it really comes down to a couple of just big ultimates from Mercury, right? It didn't seem like the team really outplayed enemy. They just had one series, like 3 really great Mercury ultimates.
And Bellona ultimates as well.
You know, I think what's strange to me is the early game started so rough for Envy. If you're considering, like, just the plays that were happening, Cyclone was making extremely amateur mistakes by trying to bludgeon into Athena in melee range with shield wall down, and you know, Weekend was rotating around the map in a very awkward way. But usually, a team who not only plays very well from behind, but who doesn't tilt almost ever. Envy, known to play from behind, became very emotional and rode the high after Weekend found that ridiculous ult at the Gold Fury.
Yeah.
And after that, it was just like wins.
That was definitely the turning point of the game right there.
Well, like in game 3, Envyus, I mean, if they're going to take this one down in 3 straight games, I mean, this next game, if they're able to win it, we need to see them do it by winning team fights outright, right? Like bullying enemy, because in this game, it really did come down to Weekend just getting 5 slotted and destroying everything's Mercury.
I don't want to see them pull the paradigm and forget that Xing Chen exists.
Yeah,
it has to stay banned.
Good point. We'll see if they do ban Xing Chen going to game 3. But with that, that's the end of game number 2. We'll toss it over to Kelly and the analysts to break it down for us and take us into game 3.
Welcome back, gentlemen. All right, so what exactly was different about that game that allowed Envy to take it off of Enemy?
So what Envy did really important was the duo lane. They had an aggressive support onto the Sobek, which allowed Allied to get the first blood onto the Khepri and allowed him to transition that laning phase a little bit more in the mid game.
Now, Allied throughout that entire game almost seemed mispositioned. He was constantly in the front lines. Was that to his favor or his disadvantage?
No, and honestly, you could even see that in one of the last fights after Envy actually picked up 3 Phoenixes. Allied's kind of sitting there by himself against all of Enemy, and he got picked off. His positioning hasn't been great, but he's been getting off the damage, so it's been making up for it. We noticed it in Game 1 as well. It's something he'll have to fix moving forward in this series, but for me, it was the fact that Envy didn't play into Enemy's hands. They weren't the aggressors early. They played super passively, and the first fight was actually forced by Enemy, I believe, and Weekend was able to hit a big Merc ult at the mid camps.
Yeah, Merc, that game was so dominant. Although it almost seemed like he was wasting his ult, although it obviously wasn't a waste if he was hitting so many people and turning it around. Why use your ults right at the start?
Well, some of them were just completely missed or just not useful. But in the later stages of the game, he just seemed to hit everybody and everybody could follow up on them.
So
and that really turned it.
The early Merc ults weren't that good, but the later ones were.
Yeah, I would say so.
I'd say there was 2 critical Merc ults. We actually just saw clearly the play of the game where Merc ulted in the choke point between the Tier 1 and Tier 2 towers deep into Enemy's jungle. They combined that instantly with CycloneSpin's Eagles Rally on top, stunning 3.
Great.
Soul ult comes on top, and they're all grouped up. They're all stunned. It was so much damage, so much burst. That's where Envy really turned it online.
That was the turning point?
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
I think there's 2 turning points. They got a deicide at 90 minutes, was it? Got the Gold Fury.
Yes.
They got ahead. Then at 23 minutes, they got another deicide. They got Tier 2 in
the
solo.
5 for 0, yeah.
And they got a Fire Giant.
Yeah.
That's really what just turned the game completely.
Reppy, something that you mentioned actually was that Enemy didn't really have too many wards. Why were they... Why?
Yeah, I think it just comes down to they don't have the pressure. They weren't really looking to do much, so they just let Envyus ward where they wanted to. And I think that really came back to bite them when they lost Gold Furies, when they lost big fights that they shouldn't have lost if they had vision.
I think the key factor was the fact that PainDeViande was on the Khepri instead of the Athena, so he couldn't make those aggressive plays that he did in the first game where he would get a double taunt for some beats, whereas the Khepri, he got shut down early and it just stayed that way ever since. Like, they did have a good team fight where they got a staggered deicide at the 9-minute mark, but ever since then, after that crazy triple ulti combo, Envy just took that game from there.
And to be fair, you know, when he had the Khepri versus Team Solo mid, he was utilizing it when TSM were diving into his own towers, right? Envy never did any tower dive. They took these fights in the jungle on objectives. Envy took very smart fights. They weren't over-aggressive. They were the right kind of aggressive.
Unlike that first game, right, where they were over-aggressive.
Yeah.
So from now on, Game 3 and Game 4, you think that Envy is going to step back a little bit and maybe let Enemy engage more?
I think so, and that's what they did at the start of this game. And then once they were comfortable, they started looking for the more aggressive plays, the more aggressive positioning. CycloneSpin also, while he struggled in the laning phase, it was actually a pretty decent matchup for Athena. A lot of that big fight that we saw, the play of the game with the triple ulti, was CycloneSpin was actually zoning out 3 while Envy was sitting in the back line, and when they tried to run away, the combo just happened.
Now, in the Game 1, we thought that maybe their role swap was affecting it, but it definitely seems like they were more comfortable in Game 2. Did they just need that Game 1 to, like, shake it off and it's gotten better now, or do you really feel that the role swap is still affecting them?
I think that it was just Weekend playing a little bit better than the first game. He was trying to force too many things in the earlier stages of the game. The first game, second game, he was more patient with his Mercury ulti. He waited for the right timing in most of the situations, and that's what the major difference was between Game 1 and Game 2.
Do you agree about Merc being a bit more passive with his ults?
Yeah, way more than Thor. He needs to play his own game. Before that, he was just trying to force too much. Now he forced just enough.
Now, Khaos was a great Agni, but it seemed to fall short. Why?
Agni, it doesn't always do well from behind, and he got a little bit behind compared to Incon. I was like, I'm saying Kiki.
Yeah.
I'm like, my mind's like, don't say Kiki, and then I almost said it anyways. But Incon, on the honest, well, he was a couple levels behind early.
He was behind early, yeah.
He once they transitioned into the team fight phase, and he was able to get ahead. It was very hard for Khaos to burst anyone down. They also have a double Guardian setup, and Agni a lot of times needs to combo it with some other big damage. And unfortunately, their jungler wasn't anyone like a Thor. It was Serqet, who's very single target, looking for a player in the back line, not necessarily anyone in the front line. So he didn't really have a lot to combo off of with that Agni.
And I think that it was Incon's Janus. He had some crazy good snipes that game.
Right?
Like I can remember too, where it just did so much damage. It was actually one of the team fights around the Goal Fury that opened up the rest of the team fight. I think he had like 2 people, and he created some good openings into the team fight, which allowed his team to go through the portals and clean up a lot of kills. And we see on the screen here where he gets a snipe onto a just. That last snipe was just
Is there
so
anything
dirty.
more satisfying sniping with? Is a raw snipe
No,
more satisfying?
no. Long range Janus is the best feeling.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know what? Envy looked like the Envy that we've seen all season, and I don't know if Enemy is going to be able to come back. What do you guys think Enemy has to do, besides being less aggressive and doing those counter initiations like they did in Game 1? What are they going to have to do differently, Adonis?
I really think that Envy was able to snowball pretty heavily off some important team fights. I don't think Enemy played like bad that game. I think that Envy just played that much better compared to Game 1. Their drafts, I don't know. How do you feel about like a Serqet with a double Guardian and then an Agni? It just seems like they didn't really have enough damage to survive the team fights.
Like you have an Athena taunt, who's gonna follow up the Agni? Serqet's not gonna jump in there.
It just seems like it didn't seem like their team comp really gelled together if they got behind.
But they did something very similar to TSM, right? Where it was Khepri with PainDeViande, and then the jungle was Athena.
They also had a Siege comp. They had, I believe, Soul and Apollo that game, or maybe that was a different game.
I think it was the Soul, if I'm not mistaken. Vetium played a lot of Soul.
Yeah.
It was only the first game. The first game he played Neath, and then the rest of the games he played Soul.
So do you guys think PainDeViande's just not that good of a Khepri, and he's a way better Athena? Why would they like allowed them to have Athena right after that Game 1, which was so good, but they just gave it away to the jungle? Why would he not pick Athena for himself?
I think they wanted to take away the Khepri as well from Envy. Yeah. That was probably their strategy going in. They didn't. So off of the first 2 picks, they got Bellona Soul after the first pick, Serqet. They were thinking like, okay, they're either going to get the Athena or the Khepri, and we'll get the other. That's what Envy was thinking, but then that's why Enemy tried to counter that by just taking both away.
Something you guys actually mentioned is that Soul might be overrated and that she's not actually that good as players make her out to be. She's obviously great, but not as good as people make her out to be. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think like you're just kind of giving up too much. The Soul got the first blood early on, but that was mainly due to the pressure that Sobek allowed her. Any other hunter would more than likely get a first blood in that situation, especially against a passive lane like the Rama that comes online a little bit later.
Do you guys think that we might see Freya out of Allied, and very popular god, but with Soul there?
Freya is always a possibility.
It's fallen a bit out of meta, I would say.
It becomes a very risky pick, especially if there's a lot of fighting going on. I mean, if you can get ahead on it, obviously Freya is amazing, but if you get behind, sometimes she has some recovery problems.
Well, we're about to find out what these teams are going to pick. Let's go to the casters for Game 3.